Misha, is your internet fine? Wait. Okay, now it's fine, I think so. Perfect. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Hello, people who have joined. Hi. So, is my internet fine? Can you all see me? It will, hopefully, it will go smooth. So, we'll start. Misha, are you ready? Misha? Yes, all set. I'm ready. Yes, I can see you. So, we'll start with the introduction. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining the meeting. I am NEHA Neha, and my sign name is this. And I'm working with Enable India as a Soapstone Fellow. And now we have a panel discussion. Me and Misha are the moderators. So, voicing for Misha. Okay. Oh my God, 125 peoples. Thank you so much. Like, I am Misha. My sign name is this. And MISHA Misha. And I'm working as a Soapstone Fellow in Enable India, and I'm working as Deaf Women too. The sign is this. So I'm doing both the works with Here a Million team and Deaf Women too has collaborated. So here we go. Neha, it's your chance. Okay, perfect. So are we ready? Should we start? Okay. So what's the topic for the march? What's the theme? Oh, okay. Misha, yeah. You want to add something? Yes. On 8th March, we celebrate Women's Day, right? But on 2025, what's the theme for this year? For 2024, we had love inclusion as a theme. Do you know what's the theme for this month, this year? Just put in a chat box. We are waiting for the replies. Happy Women's Day. Come on, guys. Okay, happy Women's Day. And one more thing I just want to add, Misha, this side. Uh, on Happy Women's Day, what is the theme? The hashtag. What's the hashtag? Do you all know? Uh huh. Yes. Rashmi, like we are waiting. Okay, perfect. Yes, awesome. That's the answer. Yes. All of you know I've seen like hashtag accelerate action. Only for the Women's Day. No, this is for whole year 2025. We'll celebrate this full 2025 this year. The hashtag would be this accelerate action. Hashtag accelerate action. What does it mean? You might be thinking, right? It is for the power. Power, like what strength? You have seen in Ham, Here a Million and Deaf Women too have posted a lot of posts according to that. You all have seen. So I'll just let you know. I'll give a brief information about that. It means not giving up to anything, doing, standing for yourself and doing the work. For 2025, this is the topic. After in No, sorry, 2185. After that, not like getting lazy and all the things. No, not at all. You have to do it now, not like I'll do tomorrow, I'll do day after tomorrow. No, you have to do it right now. You have to start doing, you have to start advocating right now. So for this is for the women. You might be imagining that LGBTQ women and men all can involve in that and can advocate for this. So this is accelerate action. Yes, all set. Neha Desai, on this March month, we celebrate Women's Day, like doing awareness sessions and all the things. On April, okay, just forget everything. No, you should celebrate all 365 days. All this should be celebrated. Like men, women should be treated equally, and not just for the women, not just men and women. We should also treat LGBTQ plus everyone equally. Do am I having any network issue? Misha saying no. All said. It's all good. Okay. Is Misha having any network issues? Okay, better. Okay, Misha, like I can see you clearly. Thank you so much, Neil. Thank you. Okay. So now the panel discussion. Who are the guests for the panel discussion? We have five people, deaf and hearing. I'll just give a short info about them. One is Rashmi, the sign name was that, and she's a deaf woman plus an LGBTQ member. She has born hearing, and at the age of 10, due to some sickness, she became a deaf person. And she's into fully oralism. She used voice to text for, like, she used captioning and voice to text for the accessibility. And she has started learning sign language like 1 year ago, and she's been totally involved in deaf community. So this is a background. Now, second, Misha, it's your chance. So second is Yashika. She's a hearing woman, and she's working with WYCA. What's that? Young Women Christian Association, and she is working with Rise Up, and her aim is for leadership, and she do advocacy for the women, and she's been doing that for a long time, for hearing and deaf. She has both the experience. Okay, so the third is Gita. The sign name is this, and she's a deaf woman, and she lives in Delhi. She was involved in National Association of the Deaf. Before that, she was a general secretary. Now she is a vice president. Like her work is to like advocate for the woman what the barrier she's facing. And now, for example, if any woman is suffering personally, she goes and help them and support them fully. The fourth is Pragya. She's the founder of Ati Jeevan, and she's an acid attack survivor. Like she rescues them and she support them and empower those people a lot, and she is building that for them. Okay, so the fifth one is Charu. The sign name is this, and she's a founder of Deaf Women 2, and the aim of the Deaf Women 2 is to getting men and women getting treated equally, and she posts a lot on social medias about the deaf people. Okay, all set. Do you want to add something, Neha? I just want to add something. One Pragya has one question, I guess. Like if anyone has a question, they can just raise up the hands and we'll ask them the question.
So if we are asking the panelists to come forward, please raise your hand so that we can spotlight you easily.
So,
So
sorry.
what's the topic of today's discussion? It is intersectionality, and I am going to share more about it. Sorry for the internet disturbances. All right. Apologies for that. So, intersectionality. What does this mean? So, that's a sign for intersectionality. So, it talks about different identities that we possess. Am I still facing internet issue? Now it's better. Misha is saying, Neha, it's better. All right. Okay. All right. Is it better now? Okay. I hope my internet is fine. All good. All right. Again, apologies for the interruptions. I hope it goes smoothly forward. So, yes, intersectionality, that's a sign for it. For example, I have my own identities. I identify as a woman, as a deaf person, as a person of different identities, like from a rural background, poor background, and due to my skin color. So, all these identities overlap each other and intersect. And how do you find that? You work for them, and sometimes it becomes difficult. So you need to find out by your own self that who you really are. How do you accept yourself? And then you go forward. And Misha, would you like to add more on it? So when I talk about intersectionality, I talk about who am I? My identities, like a woman, as a deaf person, a person who has a bigger body. So all those things overlap and they work in my day-to-day things. And if you want to know more about it, we will be hearing our esteemed panelist and getting to know more about all these intersectionalities that are present there. Okay, all right, Neha here. So now we are going to invite our first guest. That's Rashmi. So just one second, Neha. So I am now unspotlighting myself. Okay, all right. So Rashmi, how are you doing? Okay, can you see me clearly? All right, okay. So I will start asking you questions. Are you ready? Okay. So you identify as a deaf person and part of the queer community. So your identity as a person of how you have navigated your identities in your advocacy work. How do you manage advocating, having so many identities? So would you like to share through your experiences? Rashmi here. First, I want to thank you for this opportunity and
The
asking for the
question is
question.
a bit for it, and I have been given a limited time, of 10 minutes to explain, and I want to make sure what I am saying is factual. So I have a little sheet that will give me pointers of what I will be saying. So I just wanted to let you know that in case I am not making eye contact with you, that because I am looking at the sheet, make sure I am on the spot of what I am trying to say.
All
Coming
right,
back to
Prasad,
your
please
question.
go forward.
So the process of finding one's identity and also starting advocacy up to process that deeply intertwined with each other. And it is extremely hard to separate them, right? So sometimes you first understand your identity and then you start advocating for yourself, or sometimes you first start advocating for yourself and then you take your time to understand your identity and accept yourself. So they are two ways, right? For example, in my case, I am deaf right. So, for example, in my case, I am deaf, right? So, but I did not first at first accept that I am deaf. It took me almost 10 years to accept that I am deaf. But I started advocating for myself a long back, right? Almost 11 to 12 years ago, because I grew up in a mainstream environment, right? I was the only deaf person, so I had to be the one person to advocate for myself. But I still, at that time, did not understand my identity, right? So as I started this process of self-advocating, I took steps to understand my identity. Through these steps, I found the deaf community, and I found the new language. And when I started connecting, I realized that, okay, yes, I am deaf. This is my identity. This is my community, right? So this is how I accepted my identity. So the process of advocating for myself led me to find my identity, right? But in the case of the process of being free for myself is very, very different. Right? How? Because at first I did not accept it that I was queer. It's same. Because I grew up in Jammu and Kashmir, right? And it's a very, very conservative environment. So it's very, very scary that, okay, I am different from other people, right? Right. So after I left Jammu and Kashmir and I went to Delhi, I started experimenting and exploring my identity, right? And in this process of after this process of exploring and experimenting, I accepted the fact that I am queer, and only after accepting, I started advocating for myself, right? And so this have been like two processes that I have, used to understand my identity and advocate not just for myself, but also other members of the, community. So now that I have these two identities, how do I navigate through them? How do I manage them? So when I say that I am deaf and I am not just using a good word to explain myself, right? It's not just a label. It's not, it also comes with a lot of baggage, a lot of history, and a political stance. This is what is my political identity, and when I accept it, this is how I navigate my life with from here onwards. Right? So accepting that I am free and that comes with its own positive and negative changes. For example, when I accepted I am deaf, of course I am accepting a new community and a new language, but I'm also accepting that okay, there are going to be communication challenges, and there are going to be, autism, there's going to be oppression and discrimination, right? So it comes with its own challenges. And when I accept that I am gay, I am accepting that I am not a cisgendered heteronormative person. I am not straight cisgendered heteronormative person, right? And I am different. When I accept it, it opens a space for new forms of oppression and discrimination and even violence, right? It could be a very scary process. So how do I make sure that I am advocating for both of these adaptives, when I face these two forms of oppression? So the first, one of the important thing to realize is that when we are advocating, especially with intersectional identities, we are not always given equal platforms for them, right? Sometimes I get a platform as a deaf person, sometimes I get a platform as a queer person, right? So how do I make sure I am in those spaces, ensuring the visibility of my identity? Right? I am standing here as a how am I showing I am deaf? I am standing here as a deaf person. How am I showing I am queer? Right. So here it is important to be strategic about our platform and the spaces we are navigating through. Example, when I am in free spaces, right, I make my darkness visible through asking for assessment, asking for interpreters and captions, sometimes signing in a sign language, sometimes speaking. Even my speech is not perfect, Sometimes I shudder, my accent is different, and even my pronunciation is not clear, right? So in this way, I make sure my darkness is visible.
Just 1 second. I think they are not able to catch the interpreter properly. Just fixing
Uh,
that.
you want to switch?
Just join Shivam.
Yes.
Sorry for the interruption.
So where do I cut off? Doctor, okay, so I was just saying that, how in these spaces, I make sure my definition is visible from captions, interpreters, sign language, and even speech, right? Even speech, right? Now, in that spaces, how do I make sure my queerness is visible? I do so by not adhering the heterosexual expectations that I have being asked of me, right? I do so by with the help of my appearance, with the way I dress, with how my hair look, with how I behave, right? And with the even, in the discussion of queer advocacy, bringing up topics of, queerness, right? So that's how I do it. So whenever I am given, whenever I am given a platform for one identity, I make sure that I am carrying in my back my second identity, right? So because both of these shape who I am as a person, I'm not just who I am as a person, but also the kind of oppression I am facing. Right? So let me give you an example, a short example. Okay. So I completed my master's last year. Right, last year, right? And in my college, we do not have a disability or a gender cell, right? That we can directly reach out to for issues. But we had a gender and a sexuality cell, right? So I got for the elections, and I won, and I got the leadership role for the gender and the sexuality cell, right? So in that space, what that it was to make sure that I am showcasing myself, I am representing my visibility as a deaf person, right? And not just visibility, but I am making sure that I am asking for assess my needs. And not just only me as a deaf person, but also for the broader disability community, right? Right. So I use that platform to bridge a gap between the deaf and disabled community and gender and sexuality, sorry, queer community, because we both of us are marginalized, right? So it becomes together and advocate for ourselves, right? Our approach to advocacy becomes even more stronger. Right. So in this case, I used the platform that my queerness has given me also advocate for my deafness. So now to answer the second part of your question, about right, how can one person understand the identity, right? So first of all, it is important to understand that finding one's identity is a long process, We do not just get it in 1 minute, right? It takes years of exploration and self-acceptance, right? So, I mean, at least it did for me. So you can follow other of the two ways. First started advocating and taking time to understand identity. First understanding identity and then starting advocacy. Right? But in both of these cases, self-acceptance is important and patience. Right? And it is also important to understand that when accept identities that do not fit in the dominant structures, right, of the society, we open spaces for more violence, more challenges, more forms of oppression. And it's normal for to be scared in those cases, right? Scared. But it is important to know that people might not be 100% same as you, but you have some similarities with other people, and together you can form a community and advocate for each other, right? So you do not have to do it all alone.
Great. Thank you for the information and sharing your views. When you talk about identity, after finding it and accepting it, it's not always easy. So can you see me clearly, Rashmi? So captions are there. Cool. All right. When you talk about identity, accepting it, and then it becomes easier to advocate. But if we don't find the identity, like you said, first you advocated for your deafness and later on found out about your advocacy. So what did you advocate about while growing up?
So, uh,
So while growing up, like, so you found out your identity about deafness later on. So how did you accept it?
like actually that okay, but I accepting that I accepted it because when I became that right, I started facing challenges and I started realizing that okay, I do not fit in this heavy dominant world. There were communication challenges and when people were look down on you, right? There are forms of oppression. Sometimes they are direct, sometimes they are indirect. Right? So I was a student when it happened, and especially in classrooms that when there was no assessment, I had to make sure to let the teacher know that okay, I do not understand this. You have to find a way to explain it to me. And it was also taking time to understand how I can myself solve my challenges. So I asked my friends for help, and they helped. It was also with the help of, like it was only recently I discovered technology, how to assess technology, right? So there were various ways that I used, right? And even when like growing up in a predominantly society, it start the people indirectly feel that you are not the same as them, right? You are not equal to them, right? No matter how hard you are trying. So I made sure that I studied hard, I was doing well in school so that it would not give people any chance to question me as a tough person, right? They would not look at me negatively as a tough person. Right. Ensure that they look at the people the same. They look at other hearing people.
Great, wonderful. Thank you for sharing your views. We will come back to you for the second question as well. Now over to Misha.
Interpreter switch. Okay. Like there are some people texting that Shivoy is not having a good connection, but I was able to see him clearly that Shivoy is having a not proper connection. But for me, maybe in your mobile, you didn't had a good connection, so maybe a small screen. So yeah, we'll go to another person now, other guest. So yeah, can you all see me clearly? Perfect. So Yashika, are you here? Please just raise your hand so that we can pin you. Yashika, are you here? Yashika.
Hello,
Okay.
hello. Can you hear
One
me?
second. Just 1 second, please. Hi. 1 second, like interpreter.
Hello, hello. Can you see me?
Yes, 1 second. Just waiting for the interpreter to come on screen. Like, I'll just ask you a question now. So, Shivam, are you here? Yes. Yes, I'm here. How to raise the hand? Okay, so yeah. So my
Hello.
question, yeah,
Yeah.
hi Yashika. Thank you so much for coming. So I have a question for you. So rise up, right? Rise up. Hmm. Okay, so rise up has been working with the hearing women, right? Since deaf women has been involved in your initiative, please share if this intersectionality impact the work that you do.
So, first of all, hello, everyone. Really nice to see all of you. And I'm so glad to be part of this panel with these wonderful women along with me. And International Women's Day to all of you. I think it's not just one day, but it's every day that we should celebrate women. And not just women, but intersectional women, deaf women, hearing women, and all the women with their intersectionalities. I'm Yashika. Thank you, Misha, for your question. And as we talk about intersectionality, hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, you can. I can hear you. Yes, cool.
Okay. Yeah. So intersectionality has been part of the RiseUp program since the beginning of it. The RiseUp program is World YWCA's flagship initiative and implemented in India by the YWCA of India. And we have been working with women since a long time. YWCA has been working with women since 128 years now. And with working with women, we have to understand that women is not a homogeneous category. We have so many intersectionalities along with working with women. We have young women, we have intergenerational women, but also intersectionality is such a major part. So when we work with young women between 18 to 30 years and in Rise Up program, we could understand that every woman has their own story. And when we started working with the deaf young women, we could understand that there are so many things which the deaf young women
Sorry,
face in
one
their.
second, please. 1 second. Sorry, I can't. Yeah, better. Can you repeat?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I was saying that when we talk about intersectionality in the RiseUp program, from the year one, this program has been led by young women. And we have been working with different communities across India. So in the year one, we started working with rural young women.
So when we start a program and when we start working with the community, it's very important to have a conversation with them to understand their problems and their issues. So we began talking with them, and we have to also understand that what is a particular need which the young women of that community is looking for. So, after a lot of work and after the leadership training in a lot of communities, we understood that SRHR is something which is very common. And when we started working with the deaf young women, they could tell us that there are they are double marginalized. They are not just women; they are also deaf young women, and they also belong to different locations across India. Right. So the location also plays a critical role in their knowledge and their skills, because if they are part of a urban area, they might have more resources. But if they are part of a rural area, they might not have much resources to know about gender, know about women's rights, know about sexual and reproductive health rights also. So, in RiseUp, after working with deaf young women of almost now 2.5 years, we could understand that language has been a barrier, and it's the way we can take it forward. Like, we can make the language more accessible. We have to bridge that gap of language. We have to ourselves send like understand that Indian Sign Language is also part of the community, and we as as people who are inclusive should also accept that. And it's not something which like deaf young women or deaf community or intersectionality, it's not a far concept. It's something which exists in our society. And when we exist in our society, we have to work with all kinds of people, and we have to work on a collaborative approach. So in RiseUp, we majorly focuses also on safe spaces. Charu and Nisha are one of two of our master trainers in RiseUp, and they have been trying to create these safe spaces where young women, or maybe more genders, everyone feels safe. And in this safe spaces, we talk about identity. We talk about what are you apart from your name or apart from your gender. So we talk about, if I am Yashika, what is my story? If Nisha is there, what is her story and what is her intersectional identity? She's a deaf young woman. She lives in Bangalore. She works in Bangalore. So all these layers affects the way we are in society, and we work with different people. So yeah, those were a few examples on how RiseUp has been working, and YWCA of India has been working with deaf young women and with rural young women, tribal young women also. And after almost 3 years of implementation, we are now implementing the program in 40 plus locations. So every location have their own group of diversity and intersectionality. So we believe that dialogue is a way which can take us further, which can take the community forward. Because if we listen to what you are saying or what you are telling us, we will be able to be more empathetic to your approach. And that's what we have been doing in the Rise Up program.
Okay, this is like perfect answer, I think. So just want to have one more question. Like, when you're working with the deaf people, you got to know about intersectionality. What is the impact that you got after working with the deaf women?
So, honestly, for me as a professional, but also as an organization, we grew a lot. And because deaf community was a new community for us, initially we were also a deaf person.
Sorry, can you go
How
back
to,
your network to a
sorry,
deaf?
can you hear
Yeah,
me now?
yeah, yeah. Can you go back? You were saying deaf community, right?
Yes.
Will
So
that
for
sorry?
us as a organization, for me as an individual professional also, but for us as an organization, working with deaf was totally a new thing or a new community which we were starting. So initially we also had many inhibitions like how should we communicate? How should we call a deaf person? If we are calling them deaf, is it offensive? And if not, how can we tell our things to them, and how will that communication gap can be bridged? So thanks to the wonderful interpreters we have been working with, we could understand that that communication can be bridged, and hearing and deaf young women can work together and do wonders. So for us also as an organization, after like 2.5 years of working with deaf, we can at least say that many of our programs have also been inclusive. We have Indian Sign Language interpreter there. We are trying to make content which is accessible for all, not just for deaf or hearing, but also maybe for persons with disabilities. We are trying to build more trainings for young women from other disabilities as well. So this is how I feel every organization can also grow, but at the same time we as individuals can also grow, because our differences make us unique. But it's through the communication and through the conversation and dialogue we can bridge those differences and take the conversation forward and take the dialogue forward. So yeah.
Okay, overall, this was very good. Thank you so much. Like, I have one more question. I'll ask you later. So now it's chance for Neha. Let's switch the interpreter.
All right, I'm facing a bit internet issue. Can you see me clearly? Yeah, it's clear, Neha. It's clear. Can you see me clearly? Yeah, yeah, your internet is lagging a bit, but please come up. Now it's better. Okay. So thank you for joining. I hope it is clear. Mm. Just one second. I'm facing internet issues. It's better now. Shall I sign slowly? One second. Okay, better now. Yeah, clear. So thank you for joining, Ms. Gita. So here's your question. As a woman who's deaf with the Usher syndrome, and you worked as General Secretary at National Association of the Deaf, and earlier we had no awareness about these gender issues and everything. So what were the barriers and challenges that you faced while navigating as a deaf woman with Usher syndrome? Shall I start? Yes, please go ahead. Gita Sharma here. So interpreter is there. Interpreter is speaking. So yes. All right. Okay. Clear. So hello everyone. Thank you to all the participants for joining here. Happy Women's Day. I want to thank you for inviting me to this panel. thanks to the team. So in those times when I was involved, we had no knowledge about that men and women needed to have those rights. But internally, I always felt that women were not given respect, even personally also. So whether I would go to some meetings, board meetings, so all the men would be chit-chatting with each other, and they were like, "No, you're just a woman. We should not be listening to you." And I was like, "Why are you not listening to my views and opinions? And why am I part of the meeting?" So every time the meetings were majorly men who were part of those meetings. So they were like, "These topics are not related to you." So I said, "No, I also can be part of these discussion." So the talk, the opinions, those are important, not my gender.
Huh?
So I raised my voice on those matters, and they saw, hey, you want to be on par with us? Because I was the only woman working in a field where everyone else was a man. So I never felt that thing. I was very careful also how to navigate the talks because everybody would say, hey, you are disgrading or degrading the men. But I never came with that mindset. So, but still, I had those things in my head like there is no equality. So there were people in my team who were supporting me. They said, hey, whatever work you're doing, please continue doing it. I never felt discomfort or to give up because I wanted to serve and give back to the community. Because while growing up, I had faced those challenges and I did not want the coming generation to face that thing. And but still, I was in that dilemma should I or should I not? But I still got the support from the team and I continued the work. It made me more confident as I went forward. So, be it any meeting, anything, if I had any other opinion, they said that, hey, you should not be sharing that. I said, like, if I'm not allowed to speak, why am I here? So, going forward, slowly and steadily, I shared my opinions. And it's not about men or women, it's more about who is saying the right way, the part of the truth. So, do not look at my gender. I used to share with them. So, you have your family, even your family has mothers and sisters. So you respect them. So when you're going outside in a workplace, in a meeting setup also, there also, I needed to make them understand that the respect should stay the same. Slowly and gradually, I went forward and the mindset started changing. And if some topics used to be quite hard or something new, when I used to be part of that, I thought, no, these are not for me. Like, I am seeing all men there, and as a woman, I will not be able to participate or contribute. But I was advised to know you need to be there, you need to be a strong leader and a role model for other women to emulate, copy you. Yeah, copy you. So, yes, I said, all right, that's fine. I got the support. I was not held back by the negative remarks or the view that they looked down on me, but I trusted and took the leap of faith and wanted to show that the solutions are there. Secondly, they would always mock. All the men would say, hey, why are you here? You're a woman. This is not your space. How are you feeling? And they would always say those things. I never had those apprehensions, but they would always say, hey, after the meeting, did you feel fine? And did you understand what the meeting was about? So, for example, PM Indira Gandhi. So I said, if she was the PM of India, she might be the only woman in the room. So was that fine? So I used to cross question them and reply to them also for their questions, and I stood my ground. So I said I want to be part of these meetings, and because I was interested and I shared with them, so I said I really like this, and they said okay, come. Even as a single woman, be part of the meetings if you are the only woman in the room. So I faced a lot of negative remarks, but I still continued and taking forward women issues. And then later on, they said, you need to start working as the general secretary at NED. I said, no, that's quite difficult. That's a lot of work. I can work with women. I have similar experiences. I can counsel them, but I can meet all the women in India also, deaf women, and I can work with them. But when you talk about the general secretary post, it means like taking on more roles and responsibilities. So I was initially as a acting general secretary, and when that general secretary retired, so I took that post. And once I started working, I got more aware. Talked about women equality, and other people also started seeing that women can be part of the advocacy race as well. So I never came in a point of degrading anybody. I came with a point of respect, and people saw that thing whenever I had a conversation with them, or in meetings, or anywhere. So I would always request that please bring women also in those programs or events, and they started bringing them also, bringing them and including them in those events, and it's still going on. So now I am the vice president of National Association Direct. Neha, so you did not had the notion of that there's this inequality in the society, or how men really see as women, but later on you found that there are challenges, but you fought them and brought that better view. And we will come back to you for the second question as well. Thank you. Over to Misha.
So now it's chance for Pragya. Pragya Singh. Can you just raise your hand so that we can ping you? Pragya, are you here? Please just pin so that we can, I mean, please just raise your hand so that we can ping you. Okay, 1 second, just interpreter will do the same. Hi, Pragya, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you.
Just 1 second, please. Hmm. Okay, so yes. Hi, Pragya, welcome. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so
Joining.
much for having me. It's an honor to be part of the program to talk.
Please, if someone has their mic off. Thank you. Okay, so yeah. So should I ask you the question?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Okay, so though you have lived experience and work, uh, worked at Atijeevan Foundations too, with acid attack survivors, what are the some of the barriers that women face towards being independent? We would be interesting to know the journey that you have been went through with the intersectional lens.
Yeah. So when we talk about acid attack survivor, we must remember that their identities are shaped by both their experiences as a woman and their experiences of surviving violence. The stigma and societal attitude that they face during the time of their recovery and as a gender uh, is daunting for them. Those two aspects of being a victim, being called a victim, and a woman who is completely disfigured change them as a human being. The rejection from the society, the mental health, the rejection from their own family members, telling them that they are a burden for them, is really very difficult for them to cope up. Well, as a first-hand experience, what I had, and also been working in this field with the women who have faced this kind of violence, what I have learned is, you need to take charge and go on irrespective of what people think about yourself. We often face social stigma and isolation. I myself uh, took almost 3 years to recover, underwent reconstructive surgeries, 17 reconstructive surgeries, and recover from my own depression and accept my new identity. I lost vision in one of my eye. I lost my ear completely. I lost mobility of certain part of my body, my hands, my neck, and so on. But I always felt that I am not a victim. I cannot be defined for my physical appearance. I should be defined for what I do for my community, what I do for myself. And that's what I teach other girls in our organization. When I recovered from my injury and wanted to work in an organization, I approached so many organizations, gave interviews. It was in the year 2009, 2009-10. I tried giving so many interviews, even a small job which could uh, occupy my time would have been very helpful for me, but I did not got, because everybody thought that uh, somebody like me with this appearance cannot work uh, with their other colleagues. Uh, the organization was not aware how to include a person like me in their community, in their workspace. Only in 2016, RPWD Act, acid attack survivors were included as person with disabilities. Till that time, I have only created jobs for not only for myself, but for other survivors as well. I started a small enterprise to and taught them to make handicraft products. And that's how we as a community found employment for ourselves. Only after 2016, some of the girls were included in organizations as an employee. Till that time, economic independence was impossible for acid attack survivors. As a victim of violence, they also need mental health support throughout their life. They often go through post traumatic stress disorder, and time to time in their life, they need counseling, which I felt has always lacked in a government hospital or setup where they could have provided some support along during the physical pain they were enduring. Uh, An acid attack is a classic example of gender-based violence and gender discrimination. For an acid attack survivor, their struggle is more pronounced uh, because they come from underprivileged background, most of them. And they also need legal and medical support throughout their life. At Atijeevan, I have tried to create a support network for the acid attack survivor to provide them legal support, job placement, skill development, and so on to make them thrive in their life.
Yeah, you can just go on. Continue, please.
Yeah, so there was this another question about
Yeah, second question we'll ask you later.
yeah.
Like people yeah, like people from your foundation, is it in like how many places is it in India? Like just one place or many, how many places?
Um, so the acid attacks are more prevalent in UP, West Bengal, Delhi, NCR. And most of the survivors, they are placed around these areas. I am based in Bangalore. We do have survivors in Karnataka, burn patients who are severely disfigured due to burns, and they need reconstructive surgeries, multiple reconstructive surgeries. There are uh, many survivors who have undergone 20, 25, 30 reconstructive surgeries, and these surgeries are does not only impact their physical um, body, it also is very expensive, and hence they need financial support and counseling support throughout their life. I myself have undergone 17 reconstructive surgeries, and this is the best what you see is any plastic surgeon could have done to my face. And I believe that, you know, acid attack survivors have so many girls, they lose complete vision in both of their eyes. Acid is something which impacts on the skin and destroys all the layers of your skin, making it very difficult to move that part of the body. And it can only be corrected through multiple surgeries. I think for an acid attack survivor, we need multi facet, rehab program. It's not only about their medical support and surgeries. Most of the girls are attacked during their teenage, early years of their life. So they don't know what to do next. So skill building and education support is something I believe can work uh, for our community. Also, because acid is available, very easily available in the market, we need to stop the sale of acid. If we have how many? We have 159 people here today.
One second,
And
please, ma'am. One
all of
second, one second, one second. I'm really sorry.
your time.
Okay. Okay, okay, sure, sure, sure. We are just adding Sapan sir as a deaf interpreter. Sapan, can you like raise your hands? Thank you. You can, ma'am, start. Yeah, ma'am, you can start.
Yeah, so what I was telling is acid attack survivors, they need multifaceted rehabilitation, not only medical, they also need legal support because it is a medical legal case and they need legal support. They need financial and economic independence, and they also need skill building and mental health support.
Oh, and the way you expressed the perspective was very different. And it's the story you told was very like heart touching. I'll have another question that I'll ask you later. Thank you.
All right. Okay. So now, can we have our next panelist, Charu? All right. I hope it is clear. Great. Perfect. It's all clear. Okay. Are you ready for the question, Charu? Yes. Hmm. So just want to let you know that, first of all, thank you for having me as a panelist here. And I hope that you learn from this and spread the information going forward. And thank you for having this discussion and planning this event. Thank you for this opportunity. Wonderful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So, my question to you is, what personal experience has shaped your understanding of privilege and oppression the most? So, would you like to share your experience, please? Of course. So, there are many examples and experiences. I would like to pick one that was quite unique. So, if you go on roads, so there are these toll booths, right? And if people just skip them, and if they say VIPs, they just let them go. But as a common citizen, they would ask for your card and all those things, and you have to pay for it. But they would question you a lot. So there's no equality on those things. They would just take advantage of the privilege and just go and bypass those toll booths. Same concept applies in our day-to-day lives regarding gender, like men and women. Men are allowed to go out independently, but if a woman, a girl in the house, wants to go out, they are asked multiple questions. The men are freely allowed to go out, and this is one way where I see privilege. And on social media, I'm talking about menstruation cycle, human rights, gender equality, privilege, sharing all those posts since the past 5 years, conducting workshops, presentations, meeting the people, having discussions, hoping that the women can also understand this perspective. For example, menstruation cycle. People used to be ashamed of it. Hey, you should not be talking about openly. You should just keep mum. And that is how you were oppressed, not talking about something that happens to you every day. And if you were taking leaves due to the menstrual cycle during the time of that month, you would miss out on education. But people were not aware about that thing, so they would let the child be at home only and they would be depressed. So at Deaf Women too, we started spreading more awareness about it. And in India, especially women from rural areas, the impact is not there. It's still not steady. In urban cities, they start advocating for themselves. They have the literacy. They are aware about the law. So the change is steadfast there. And they have access to resources and information. And they have spaces, but not the same for rural women. Access to information, even schools or washrooms also. Where are clean washrooms for women also? In cities it's easier, but when we compare it to the rural areas it's quite different. So privilege and oppression, it's totally different for everybody. So even talking about menstrual cycle, it would be diverse experience for everybody, and that is what I have captured with my conversations with other people. Everyone has the stories, but when we talk about deafness, so I would clarify that with one more example. Like we are advocating for the deaf rights. We do not want autism. And for example, if deaf people themselves do not have awareness about a topic and the deaf community is facing challenges and we understand about deaf food, the same experiences, you train them, and the hearing community will not ask the deaf people what are the challenges, what are the needs. They give the resources. And if a deaf person is signing and the hearing person is not able to understand, so that's one challenge. They say, hey, what are you saying? All those things. You want sign language, I can speak. You cannot speak or listen, so you give it. So, where did the data come from? Where did the information come from? People will listen to that hearing person. Deaf people will not get the applause. So, who will get the information? Because deaf people were not able to access or get the attention of the people. So, that's one way. And the other is gender. So we are not against men, but we need to make them understand what are the challenges and experiences of women coming to their shoes and be empathetic about their experiences. Men say, yeah, we want to support you, we want to support you, but really deep inside, is that honest support? I am still doubtful about it. So are they really understand? They, hey, I understand, okay, but I don't think that the society is still ready to support women in the right way. So my personal experience I would like to share. So in corporate spaces and working spaces, if people, a man and a woman are of the same roles, and if you compare a position in Delhi or like a southern state in India, a man would like not discuss with the team like, hey, we should go together and work on it. But they say, hey, how will you travel? We will have to book your flight, stay, all those things. It's difficult, difficult, difficult. So when will this difficulty end? So that's one big challenge that's still there, ingrained in the society. We're creating all these social media posts, impact, and safe spaces, then going out regarding our clothes, what attire women are wearing. So if they are wearing sleeveless, so men would walk around without clothes, and women are not even allowed to show their arms. So when will that change come? And that confusion comes up, and this intersectionality then creates a lot of oppression that we face, be it a hearing person, deaf person. As a woman we face a lot of challenges. It's the background also that amplifies the challenges that each woman face. And when we talk about oppression, they say, hey, sorry, we will understand, we will fix it next time, but they still keep repeating it. But does it, the change comes in an instant? No. But due to this oppression, lot of challenges, mental, physical, come up in the women, and it's real. It's there in the society. Sometimes they get fed up. they might burst out and people say, hey, you are such a hyper person. But that's not. That's the years of oppression that the person has faced. Some people are not able to come out of it even and become much more weaker. So it's a really tough situation. And a lot of women, they need to see and are not able to even find out their identities. Are they really getting oppressed from the people? They don't themselves do not know. So these kind of situations also happen. So when we talk about privilege and oppression, this is what I want to share with you now. So when we talk about privilege and oppression and intersectionality, can you just give an example of both coming there? So privilege example, two women are there. One is a hearing woman, a person who's hearing, has access to speech, sound, getting access to information. A deaf woman lacking access to information. Same, two same women, but the woman with hearing has that privilege of hearing. The society, mainstream society, is made for the hearing world. So for deaf women, will lack of information, missing out on a lot of things. A lot of intersectionality and challenges are there. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing that, Charu. Now I will pass it over to Misha. All right. Rashmi, can you please raise your hand? We want to have you back. We have Rashmi spotlighted and Shivoy as well, the interpreter. Can we have the interpreter spotlighted as well? All right. I hope you can see me clearly. The space is clear. Okay, thank you. Okay, are you ready for the next question, Rashmi? So, Rashmi, based on your lived experiences, how can you advocate for equality between all identities? So, there are different challenges faced by deaf and queer people. So, do you have any goal to support or get involved in deaf LGBTQ community?
So, so thank you for the question. So, like I said before, it's extremely hard to attempt to achieve equality between when we're advocating for the different identities, right? Because it is not always that the platforms that we are given are equal, right? And even when we are given a platform, something is always going to get missing, right? You're always going to end up missing something. So it is extremely hard. The opportunities are not the same. The challenges are also not the same. And even within community, whether it's the deaf community or the queer community, so they are different hierarchy, right? So the process is very, very different. So when we are given a platform, it's extremely important to study about how we are, advocating. For example, currently I am present here right now, and I am given this opportunity predominantly as a government, right? But here I am making sure that I am properly representing the community identity, right? I am using this that my government has given me all the family identity, right? So I am trying to be as tragic as I can. I'm trying to do justice to what. Right. So about the creed of community right. So first of all, I would like to say this that our number is still very very small. And like for example, I am a part of this WhatsApp group, right? And we are just 5 people, but there's a lack of communication.
Just 1 second, Rashmi. Just 1 second. Apologies.
Mm.
Just 1 second. All right, just sorry for interruption. So, deaf interpreter, if you required it, we can add it again. And if you do not need a deaf interpreter, we can continue with the same interpreter. So, Sapan, are you there? So, deaf interpreter. The requirement is there, it's needed. So, if we can have Sapan spotlighted again. Yeah, can we have Sapan spotlighted? Yeah, Sapan is there.
Happening.
Yes. Sorry for the interruption, Rashmi. You can continue, please.
So I was talking about the creed of community, right? So what I am saying is that our number is still very small, right? For example, I am a part of this WhatsApp group, and we are just 5 people. But even there is a lack of communication, and there are not a lot of people who are also like out there, right? I mean, it is completely understandable why, because if you look at the situation in India, right, it's a conservative country, right? So it's hard to come out and be openly queer, right? So it's completely understandable. So while there is change to start something new for the community, right? Right? But I believe what we need now is to start the conversation, right? We need to create a safe space where we can properly be represented, where our visibility is there, right? And with this, when we're given a space, safe space, and have support to come out of, our numbers are naturally going to grow bigger. And when the number grows, it will be easier to like naturally to start something, right? So that's the aim to right now. What we need is a safe space. We need support from both inside the community, also outside the community, right?
Great. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that. So, same, we want the progress to go further, the community to grow. Great. Now, over to Neha.
Okay. So, Yashika, are you there? Can you hear me? Okay, cool. So, people have some doubt. We'll clear that later. Like, what is DI, deaf interpreter? So, for example, hearing interpreter is there. Sometimes what happened is they can't catch what it means. So, it's easier for them to catch and understand what the deaf interpreter is saying. So, the Sapan is deaf interpreter for today. So now, Yashika, are you ready? Yeah. DI deaf interpreter adds more content. Thank you, Gayatri ma'am. Okay. So, do you have any thought to improve the challenges faced by deaf women based on their experiences? Like maybe you want to share something. Like,
Thank
can we get the
you.
interpreter? Once again, just hold. Can we get the interpreter here? Okay.
Please continue.
Okay. So thank you, Neha, for the question. Yeah, from working with deaf community for around like 2.5 years now, we have seen a lot of challenges, but then a lot of learnings also. And the best part is when we keep on working and when we have this conversation on a daily basis, there's a feedback mechanism. Like, if even if we have a meeting together, we have that feedback and regular communication so that the conversation keep on going and we can improve as a hearing organization, as a hearing community as well. So, a few of the things which we can do as allies to the deaf community is first of which is creating these spaces where deaf young women and the deaf community have um, a space to share their opinions, share their stories. Because if we do not have a representation, we will not know what is their story, what is the background, and how we can make our conversations better with the community. Second, I feel that there is a need to invest and invest also in more spaces, like I mentioned, but also in feminist funding. So, World YWCA has also had a feminist consultative methodology where deaf young women got a chance to create a research work on what are the realities of comprehensive sexuality education. So, when we were working with the deaf community, we could understand there's a lack of data. And if there's a lack of data, we could not get that how many young women are there in a workspace or how many deaf young women are there. So that lack of data and research is very much there in the deaf community. And through FCM methodology, deaf co-researchers developed this research and worked with almost 200 plus deaf people to get, yeah, there's a doubt.
What is FCM? What does FCM stand for?
I will write in the chat box also, but it is feminist consultative methodology. So it is a research methodology which talks about that research work is not done by somebody else. It is done by for the community and by the community. If we want a research in deaf community, there should be deaf researchers for it. So that's why the deaf co-researchers, there were 6 co-researchers who work together to find the realities of comprehensive sexuality education with the deaf people. So we need such sources, we need such tools which are inclusive for the deaf community, where deaf community can participate. We need more funding. We need feminist funding, which makes the conversation accessible. And because accessibility also comes with a cost, right? So we need more funding and support. Lastly, but not the least, I also believe that there's a like there's a prime need to also have collaboration between organizations. So Deaf Women Too is one of the organization. YWCA of India was collaborating, and there were more organizations in a local space. Like in Jaipur, we had a deaf association. In Bangalore, also there was a deaf association. So we need such collaboration between hearing and deaf community so that we can work together and reach more impact. So the difference shouldn't be deepened by not talking. There should be more conversation, there should be a collaborative approach, because if we want to reach a goal, collaboration is a great way. So that is something which we have been doing, which I have been doing in my work. And a few good practices are what I just shared. And we really need to have more conversations, as I mentioned. So, yeah.
Great. Really important. really important to have that first access to information in their own language. What are their needs? Asking the deaf community what do they need, and then collaborating with them. Totally agree with your points. Thank you for sharing that, Yashika. Great. Now over to Gita Sharma, and Misha will be asking the question. Thank you, Sipan, for joining. All
Okay.
right, so Gita Sharma, if we can have you here. Okay, all right. So can you see me clearly? Yes, yes, I can see that. So space is fine. Yeah, it's all clear, Misha. Good. So the second question to you. So the last question for you, Miss Geeta. So I've been working with National Association there for a long time, and people who are ready to work for the deaf community, and as a person who is deaf with Assertion syndrome, and when they talk about intersectionality, your identity, that you will not be able to function or like really go forward and achieve much. So how do you support those people? So first thing, I won't say like I'm working with deaf women only, not really into the Usher syndrome space. So that is what I'm going to talk about. Can you see me clearly? Yes, I can see you clearly. So in India, many places over the years, I've seen the men have been taking the lead. They are the presidents, the general secretaries. I've never seen women being in those positions of power and decision making. So they would be part of the executive bodies or as members, but I would request them to go at the position of president. And but they said they are not allowed to be members. They can only be part of the executive and not the higher decision making positions. So that mentality was there that women were not seen at power. So I asked the reasoning behind it, why women are not presidents or general secretaries if they want to be part of the associations. So there was this misunderstanding that the problem, the all the negative burden will come on the women. They will make the mistakes. I said, no, that's not the case. They have the skills, they have the zeal to do it. Why are you not giving that the role and responsibility? Yeah, you can give them. So that is what was there in their minds. I said, if the person has the skills, let's take the nomination and see the voting. If the women after that works better, then you have the proof. Just trust and let them do it. So they were apprehensive at first. They were not comfortable with the decision. So I went back, but I still asked the that deaf woman to work harder and get into the management positions and take lead to organize the event, and then the other decision makers will see that you have the responsibility, you can take the onus, and they will encourage other women. And now I'm seeing that young lady developing, thriving. So the team there at their organization also accepted it. The same way I've supported women at other organizations, and I want them to go further because men, if they're thriving, I want to have a mutual respect. And if we go forward with that faith and trust with each other, the society will go forward. And if people are not giving you the space, you go forward, come and ask for your rights, ask for your position, and you will get that and show your work. So, yeah. So, that is one example I want to share. So, when they say, hey, only men, that's men's space, no space for women. So, as a woman, how do you feel? Like, what's the impact? How those examples can come forward and people can be inspired with that. So, I saw that with that young lady, people learned, and going forward at other organizations they learned, oh, hey, if they are working there, it's going well now. So I see there's a quite balance, good balance. Yeah, it's now easier. In earlier times it was quite difficult. They would allow men to be in those decision making power. They said, hey, you had time, it was quite flexible. But if They were asked women to be part of it. They said, no, no, you do not give your nomination. But now the times are changing. I see it's better. It's better. Good. I see a lot of women are coming forward, and especially the young women. So I hope it continues and does not break down. I hope this thing goes forward. It's quite important. If women are going out, like if they are even at their home, and they can manage both the things as well, going out at the, because men are also so what do you mean by being at home and going out? So as a woman, I'm going out and there might be some rejections or some no's from the family, but it's important because they say you have to take care of the home as well. Understood? So in earlier times, it was quite difficult because they would say, I saw that I was not alone in these challenges, but I still going out, and now the situation is getting better. Women are being more included. So even in your workspaces, if you're working well, so my uncle also supported me, so I got the understanding. So it's most important thing is respecting each other and communicating and coming on the same page, and then you can happily work forward and continue growing. If you're having arguments, there's no use of just disagreeing and not making peace. So if you agree, you share your work, create that understanding, and explain to them, hey, these are the challenges. This is what we can come to a conclusion, to a common ground to, and then you can work well. And you cannot have that hypocrisy also, that one place you're showing it's good, but the other place you're fighting at your home. So all places you need to show that sense of respect. Misha here. So I think that's one way. Like if we have one role model like you, people emulate that and copy that. If you take a stand, other will take stand as well. So great. Now over to you, Neha.
Pragya, are you here? Pragya?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, please. Yes. Cool. Can you raise your hand, please?
Yeah, I have done that.
Do people need deaf interpreter as well? Question mark. If you need, please just let us know so that we can add Sapan. Perfect. Okay, so my question is, so like your foundation, Natijivan Foundation, do you have any thoughts to continue the advocacy work or expand to new area with the foundation?
See, for me, advocacy is not just an expanding advocacy is not just an idea, it's the necessity. And we are already doing that to other communities, like other people with disabilities, like, right now we are working with visually impaired job placements. And, I hope we'll expand it more to other communities. But over the past few years, Atijivan's primary focus has always been the rehabilitation, employment, and empowerment of acid attack and burn survivors. And I strongly believe that by evolving to address the root cause of this kind of violence against women is the need of the hour. And definitely to expand it to other form of gender-based violence is what we are looking at for long term. And we definitely, there are several spectrum in this, and different spectrum in this area is, definitely the legal advocacy and the policy changes regarding these kind of violence and compensation, and legal support and the conviction of the perpetrator, uh, fast trials, better rehabilitation programs, and stricter asset sale regulation. More stricter. We do have, guidelines from the Supreme Court, but it is not followed completely on ground, and we look forward to, strengthen it uh, to a level where we don't find acid uh, at a cheaper cost in retail counter. Of course, creating more awareness on inclusion, and inclusion policies, amending inclusion policies is what something we want to uh, straighten in at the workplace environment. That is something highly needed. How we include more people with disabilities is something we really still need to work with the corporates, with the government organizations that provide employment. I see a lot of gap there, which I feel we need to work on in long term. Of course, as I said, focusing on their mental health and trauma recovery is something, you know, um, uh, we really start working on from the day one, because when this trauma and depression and anxiety builds up, it becomes very difficult uh, to. It takes time for a person to overcome it, but when we start working on it from day one, to from pain management to working on the depression and the anxiety from day one, it'll definitely going to help the patients in long run. Youth education and prevention programs. I believe that prevention is always better than cure. And, when we work on the prevention, stronger and stricter laws, work on the compensation and bystander intervention, which I feel is very, very important. See, in every community, wherever you go, if I am not able to understand sign language, and if somebody else come forward and help me, it really empowers me and make me learn the sign language. So, for example, I feel that every child should learn sign language. It is the necessity. It is not uh, the need. Everyone should learn that. Why? My children have learned it at very early age when they were in fourth and fifth standard. They did a course, and because I was particular that they need to do. So similarly, the safety measures for gender-based violence, each individual should learn at a very early age, so that they not only empower themselves, they also empower people around them. Learning the rights, learning what you can do, whom you can call in this kind of distress situation, everyone should be aware of. And employment and entrepreneurship programs, this is something which I myself faced. I was not, though being a postgraduate in management, I was not given a job in my initial days during the time of my recovery. And uh, it uh, it really pushed me into one corner of uh, anxiety and depression, because spite of having a degree, I was not able to go out and work. What's the reason? Because, because of my facial disfigurement. So I want to create more employment to people with disabilities, which I have been doing from past 10 years, especially acid attack survivors. Uh, and if someone who is not able to do a 9 to 5 job, we have provided them supported them with small businesses. We have made them entrepreneurs who have that skill, or they are taking care of their home, doing some sort of making some sort of handicraft products, or taking care of a vegetable shop or a Xerox center, something. We need to work out, because every individual requirement is very different. See, I have a different requirement, and somebody else who has faced similar kind of violence may have very different requirement, right? So we work on individual basis, and when uh, each one is everyone is special, and every individual is special. So we work on each and every one, how as per their convenience, what they want to do. The ultimate goal here to achieve is to make them independent, so that they live a life with dignity. And this is what we do, I try to do through Ati Jeevan Foundation. And I believe that we'll continue advocating and advocating for policy reforms, survivor-led initiatives, inclusion-led initiatives, to create a large-scale social change.
Thank you so much, ma'am. This is like very inspiring story. Like we do want to ask more questions, but time is the issue. Yeah. So we'll add someone else now. Thank you, ma'am. Charu, can you come? Like, can you just raise your hand? Yes. Thank you. Okay, perfect. So last question for you. Okay. So can you see me? Yes. So Deaf Women 2, like, what are the sum of the initiative Deaf Women has taken to spread awareness about intersectionality and its important with deaf community? Is there any change regarding deaf individual finding their intersectionality identities easily? Okay. So thank you for giving me time. Like I have 5 minutes, right? Yeah, I have to finish in 5 minutes. Okay, sure. I'll do that quickly. So I think like I have to go back. I forgot a little bit, like a small introduction, intersectionality. This word, I hope people all understand what does intersectionality means. So intersectionality means I'm a woman, my identity is woman, and I'm a deaf woman, and I'm a brown skin maybe. So like my family is good, maybe middle class. So that is what intersectionality means. For example, a Muslim woman faces double oppressions, right? So that is intersectionality known as like different identities people having with intersectionalities. So yeah, Deaf Women too has been working, doing workshops, posting on social media. Is nice question about intersectionalities. Like I have not yet jumped in directly into intersectionalities, but the concept, context, I have little missed. The point was I didn't got a perfect education. There are like a lot of things like accessibility was missing. Like we have to empower women. Like women empowerment. Like in also in women empowerment, there's a lot of things. Like we have heard from different places. Need to first provide the context and the content for the access. Like a fat woman, oh, like people start mocking, oh, a very thin woman, short heighted, tall. Like so many oppressions are there. A woman plus a deaf woman plus a short height. So like three kind of oppressions we are getting. Plus, if a woman is deaf, and body shaming is also there. So body shaming, a tall woman. So like people have different identities, right? So we need to change the mindset of the people should understand, because it's all human, like skin color, like very white, brown, like facial things. Like for example, I'm fair woman, right? So people might be thinking it's very normal because I'm from north. So for example, like you should put multani mitti, you should do facial things. Maybe I think I've never did that, because in education, like school time, maybe at the age of 10 or 11, I wanted to have a dance, but women said, no, you can't do that. You're a dull. So you have to stand at the back. So I thought I'm maybe an ugly woman, because I thought I'm not fair. It literally broke my heart. At that age, my heart was not strong. I thought that I felt very hurted. So that was also oppression kind of thing. But for the deaf woman too, when I saw myself, my identity, I'm a woman, right? And I see I'm deaf, and I started learning a lot of things, and started posting on social medias. So yeah, it helped a lot of people to understand. Like for example, people involving in workshops, and they need to reflect and should know what the identity is and what intersectionality they have. And intersectionality is like very heavy thing, to be honest. For example, like you go to Burger King, you order a burger, like you'll get a burger only, no, right? You have a burger, then cheese, then aloo tikki and all the things. So it's the same concept kind of thing. There's not just one thing, there's a lot of things. Like many layers are there building upon each other. So I won't directly jump into that. So depending on person background, it is better thing, I think so. Okay, depending on experience of a woman, like a Muslim woman, I say, like they are oppressed a lot, like rules, regulation, just not, and their identities. Maybe sometimes what happened is they forget their identities. Like when I see myself, like who am I? What am I? Like I'm being oppressed a lot. I got to know about my identity very late. So this intersection is a deep concept that a person should know. Just a deaf identity, I'll show a deaf identity. Yes, I'm deaf. Yes, I'm confident about that. Yes, I'm a woman. Yes, I'm confident about that as well. So I've experienced with her in a workshop. So step by step, she gave me that about the other identity as well, like mocking, people judging her. It's human, right? We don't have same human. There's variation in human. Like everyone is like brave. There's also human right. So if you are still operating operation doing this, that's very wrong. People do feel very unconfident about it. So people need to understand, they need to see themselves and need to know what the intersectionality they have. This will help them to advocate, find their own identity before advocating. Really helps, and also helps in allyship. People with ally, like example, men, deaf men and deaf women being ally. So it helps to, if they're exchanging and empathetic, it help others as well. For example, in water, like I drop something, suddenly there would be a wave, right? So this is the same concept. Allyship should be there, like a ripple effect that happens in water. So I just need to explain that. Before voicing for Rashmi, before you said autism, right? So means you have been oppressed, Muslim women's and many people like LGBTQ men's have been also, yes, men's are also been oppressed. Women's are oppressed double. Yes, you're right. women's are oppressed double, yes, but men's are also there. Yes, I'll say yes. Like for example, deaf men, or maybe after like they are also like they start finding of marriage, then they get rejected with a lot of things. So hearing people not getting married with the deaf person, so that's also a big thing. So I think so we this is a big challenge, I'll say. We need to work hard a lot. There's a lot of barriers that we need to break right now. Like in deaf community, I feel that womanhood is same. Like everyone has the same thinking. Like womanhood is there. People get it. Like men won't get that things because that hood thing won't match. Within a second, they won't understand. But this is like a big uh, partnership that everyone should do. The allyship. Yeah, Misha say thank you so much, Charu, for this. And yeah, even you are working as a deaf woman too. Thank you so much, Misha. So yeah, I'll stay here. Okay.
All right.
So
So
yeah.
all the questions are done, and we will only take three questions from the audience. So if you would like to ask a question, you can raise your hand. So we have Himanshi who has raised her hand. Okay, can you see me? All right. So yes. So which of the panelists would you like to ask the question to? I would like to ask one question to Charu and then second to Gita Sharma. So if we can have Charu and Gita Sharma. So first you would like to ask to Charu and then. So yes, first question to Charu. Yes. Can you see me clearly? Can both of you see me clearly? Okay, thank you. So thank you for sharing, both of you. What is your name? My name is Himanshi, Himanshi, and this is my sign name. I am from Maharashtra. Okay, great. So I want to ask a question. So first question is to you. I've seen a lot of places, Geeta Sharma, that as a child who's 15 years old, so they say for all these events, you need to be 18-year-old. I want to learn new things. I want to be empowered. I want to, but they say, no, you're 15, you're just 15. And so age restrictions are there. But I want to know about my rights and I want to understand about those events. I want to be more aware. But a lot of places they say that no, under 18s are not allowed. So what to do about that? I hope my question is clear. So you're talking about events and programs, be it social media, any place. Can you please sign slowly, Himanshi? Misha is asking. Okay, okay. So do you want the question to be translated? No, I think it's good. Geeta Sharma is saying. All right, Himanshi here. So I will try to be slow. I will try to. So So you can just let me know about your question that they are not saying that your age does not match. So earlier, like because if you talk about age restrictions, like if a person is in school, they're not allowed, and if a person is below 18, a minor, so they are allowed with the guardians or parents. So it's not the event manager's responsibility. I think that's the thing. So you can bring your parents to all those places. And as a social media, it's accessible to everybody. So that's your decision. You can join. There's no restriction there. But for physical events and all those things, you can bring your parents along. Good. I agree with you, ma'am. But those people, the leaders, I ask them, they say, no, no, no. Later on, you will get this knowledge. When you see you're 18, then come here, then you will understand. But I say, I want to learn right now. I want to understand about women issues. They said, no, no, after 18 only you will understand and be included in this. Always, at the end, they always tell me this thing. No, no, later, later, later. Just one second. Sorry. So, so can you see me clearly? Yes, please. So, Geeta Sharma here. So, After 18, they cannot answer you that thing. So if you're able to understand, comprehend what's being said, you're interested, that's good. But you can just reply that I can be part of this thing, and so I understand that thing. So now over to Charu. All right. So my question to you is International Women's Day, wonderful, lot of information going out, but they say women had no privilege, nothing, but now women are getting aware, they're getting aware about their rights. Wonderful, women are standing for their rights. They're saying, oh, so many privileges for women. Now people mock me in that way. See, you have a special day for yourself. So wonderful, wonderful, great. So me, I see now the times are changing. They say women are getting all the privileges, they are getting all the wow wows, all the applauds. But where are the privileges for the men? So what women are getting everything, so they always see in that way. Himanshi, so I'm happy to see you again at this event. So you were part of the deaf youth camp also. So yes, I was there. So you asked the question to Geeta Sharma regarding the age. I think it's really important that 18 above. So if I can answer your first question as well. So what she said, I totally agree what Geeta Sharma said. After 18, why do they say is that? Because where are your foundational years? So foundation is important. You need to know about good touch, bad touch. So will do you learn that after 18? So uh, if a person gets raped before 18, should they keep mum? And only after 18 learning about those things, they will get to notice that and question and raise voice on that. No. So why do they always say later, later, later? And you keep waiting, you keep waiting, you keep waiting. But where will the solution come? How can we support each other? So if it's a serious, complicated topic, I understand. 18 below minus not allowed. But when we talk about your second question, like International Women's Day event, Women's Day is for every woman from young to the adults. So you can be part of those events. Yeah. So your question, I forgot. Can you please reiterate? Okay. Can you please keep it short? Okay. I will keep it short. Yes, please keep it short, Himanshi. Yes, I will keep it short. So International Women's Day, they're saying, wow, wonderful. Earlier, I got your question. Yeah. I recalled it. Charu here. So when they say, where is it coming from? Men are not ready to accept. In their mind, it's ingrained. Oh, women are becoming on par with us. It's hurting their egos and they're getting agitated. Once they say it, just listen to them. They will like, okay, fine. You need to respect them. If you start doing the same thing which they are doing to us, then the society will not change. They're like, hey, we are just hitting each other. So that's another point. So once you start feeding a baby, the baby rejects that food. So right now, all the men are like that. You're sharing this new information, women power with them, they are not accepting it. But once you feed the information again and again, they will understand that and accept it. Thank you for answering me. Thank you. Misha here. So we will have one last question from the audience. Please keep it short. So just one second. And I will keep it short. I will keep it short. I will try to be short. Okay. All right. So Charu and Geeta. So we have the other panelists, Yashika, Rashmi. So I want to. Oh, I cannot ask Charu this another question. She really impacted me today. I just want to ask, like, a really impactful thing happened today. Can I ask Charu again? Can you do that? Okay, if you want to, please keep it short. We are out of time. I will just keep it short and then I will leave. And second question also. First to Charu, and second to uh, Pragya. Yes, second would be to Pragya. So yes. So please, short question. Yes, I will keep it short. I will keep it short. So yes, should I give my introduction, everything? Yes, yeah, please do that. Charu says. So my name is Vishal. I am from Maharashtra, Mumbai. So Charu, one thing that really impacted me about intersectionality, I had no idea about it before that. So when I go back and we talk about the society, women, we need to respect women, support them, all those things. I understand the reason behind it, but the society always keeps saying this thing. So they always force women and oppress them. And when we talk about International Women's Day, they're like, hey, my mother, my sister, everything is good, positive, just for that one day. But in their day to day life, they do not think. So, what about that? For example, as a woman, you suffered and you're getting successful, you're getting your goals, but are they not happy for that thing? But just for that one day, you celebrate womanhood and that's it. Is it that enough? So, I see this hypocrisy. So, PM Modi, he has been working hard, November, December. So we have PM Modi would say start talking about deafness, sign language, international deaf week, all those things. Once that over, he forgets about interpreters. So can you please keep your question short? Yes. So this is what I was trying to convey. So Charu, if you that's it, your question, Vishal. Yes, Charu, if you would like to answer. So that's your perspective. Thank you for sharing that openly and sharing that. So once you see the society, I think it's better that we first work individually. I think once we have that individual change, the society will bring that change. So it's introspection that I would say that would work. So thank you. So yeah, we will now have Pragya, if we can have Pragya spotlighted. And we have, yes, thank you. Thank you. We're just spotlighting you. So yeah, I will just keep my question short.
Okay, so my question is, yeah, we'll just get the interpreter. Okay, so yeah. So my question for you is like when you were born, like your face was different, and when you had an acid attack, like something that happened into you, like what did you like? You felt before it was like normal life, or it was like very tough for you now? What do you
Accepting
think?
the changes that you
Yeah,
had to
the
face.
changes that happened before and after that.
Well, my whole life changed just in that moment. I was living a normal life as an abled person uh, till the age of 23 years old. And with this attack, I had multiple uh, disability. Of course, appearance wise, also, uh, uh, mobility issues, identity crisis. You know, people who, my own friends who used to recognize me uh, after this incident, they were not able to identify me. So there was lot I went through in the initial 3 years of my recovery. But what helped me is accepting my new identity, acknowledging my worth as a human being, and acknowledging my responsibility towards the other burn patient and acid attack survivors, and moving forward to do something for the betterment of the community. That helped me to recover from my situation. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much. Hope you just keep advocating for the same.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, Misha decides. So finally, it's done. Hmm. So just one last question we have about Gabriel. Sorry, GAP. Okay, Gabriel. Okay. He has a question. Okay, so yeah. I have question for everyone. Yeah, for everyone. And can we add Rashmi, please? Okay, should I start? Please, just 1 second. Rashmi is just joining us. Shiva, are you there? Can you join us? Perfect.
The question is to all the panelists. So, when we talk about intersectionality and indigenous, so Misha here. So, I think I am not able to catch you. You're talking about in. Sorry. I will just sign it again. In. All right. So, yes, we have the TI here. So when we're talking about indigenous communities, the groups all over the world, they have these indigenous groups. And in India, all those rural parts, they have these intersectionalities. And when we talk about indigenous groups, that also adds up to their oppression and suppression over the years. And that becomes their part. So if we can have that also part of the discussion here. So Rashmi, would you like to add?
So I do not actually have a personal experience with indigenous community writer, but I have had friends who have worked with them,
Please,
right?
just can you
And
hold?
I have been
Sapan is saying, can you
and
hold, please?
yes, it's
Just a minute.
actually
Just one
there
second,
are
1 second.
One
1
second,
second, Rashmi.
please.
like and even the
Rashmi,
oppression
Rashmi, 1 second.
and how they are side.
Rashmi, just 1 second.
Yeah.
Thank
So
you.
he was just asking if we have to translate from ISL to international sign.
Even the oppression that they are facing, right? It's huge, and I completely understand that we have missed this in this discussion, right? It's a crucial, but thank you for the suggestion. We will make sure to add it to our next discussion as well, right? So that's something we talk because if you have noticed, it's not just in this community that we have missed. There are a lot of things that went little missing, right? There was also just missed a huge discussion about religions, about caste, right? So there were some little basics that we had discovered, right? Because of the limit of the time, we could not go too deep into issues, right? But thank you for the suggestion, and we hope achieve what we have missing in this discussion in our next discussion. There.
Hopefully, we see that more discussions on that in detail. Nisha here. So, okay, all right, thank you. So, Maya has a hand raised, so yeah, we can remove all other spotlights. Hmm. If you can have all those other spotlights closed. So Maya, you have your hand raised. Hello. Hello. So my name is Maya, Maya. I am from Dehradun. So Nainital, I would like to ask my question to Charu. Okay, I would just like to have a small question. So I have a doubt. So I am from Uttarakhand. Do not know about women issues. So my family is hearing I am the only deaf child in the family. And I get oppressed by all the men around me, and I do not feel comfortable with the treatment that I get. And I am not aware about all the challenges. And in Uttarakhand, it's quite dangerous to go out also. I do not feel safe going out. And as I've come to Indore, now I'm getting more aware about it. So how can I be? So Nainital, Nainital, Uttarakhand. Yes. So you are doing your schooling from IDPA, right? Okay. Good. So what is the kind of oppression that you're facing from a family? If you can elaborate, and what do you want to tell them? So once I came here at Indore in the school, I started learning about women empowerment, about sexual rights, and speaking up for the discrimination that you face. And if you do not feel comfortable, so now I'm getting more confident, taking the onus, the responsibility. So the women leaders who are here, the deaf teachers, that has brought me peace actually, sharing that. So that's good. You're progressing. So earlier you might not have known. So that's good. Keep in touch with them. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes, happy to hear that, Maya. Just I had that doubt. So yeah, please continue. Cool. That's it. Thank you, thank you, thank you, everyone. Okay, Mishra here. So audience question time is over. We are past the time. So now I will pass it on to Neha. Okay, apologies for going over time, but so time to wrap up. And important is that we need to accept our identities and continue advocating for your rights. And if you accept it, it becomes easier to ask for your rights and advocate for it. Intersectionalities really create that difficulty, but once you have the sense of community, then you can share your issues and get that support. And mental health is really important as well. And when we talk about allyship, important that we have access, language access, deaf and hearing communities working together. Then we talked about privilege and oppression and the differences and the ideas, how they build upon each other, and being empathetic and working with other people. So we have different identities, and we work in a society which has different people, diverse group of people, and there are different intersectionalities. So we need to understand that. I want to thank Hera Million and Deaf Women too for partnering and organizing this panel discussion, for editing this event, for all the five panelists for giving your time, to the interpreters, Shivoy and Shivam, and Sapan for coming in at the last moment as a deaf interpreter. Thank you for that. And all the participants here going through that, listening to us, even being with us, even we went half an hour past our time. But that was my last goodbyes. Thank you. And one thing I wanted to add. So please, let's do this sign. Let's show our hands with the power gesture. And we will click a group picture. If you can have your videos on. Yes, this power hand gesture. Yes, let's make the fist. Let's show our women power. Awesome. Thank you so much. All right. Bye bye. Again, I think we need to click the picture again. We need to retake it. Let's do the sign again. Perfect. Great. Thank you. Bye bye.